One of the worst, most awful parts of our society right now is we live in an ugly, ugly world, ugly country. And I say that based on how people are acting online. The concept of libel or going online and firing off some written statement against someone that is demonstrably not true has gotten way out of hand. And, it starts at the national level. I think internationally they look at what we're doing here and think it's just insane. But I want everyone to take a deep breath and think about what libel is. It's a very specific legal topic. There's a very specific legal definition for it. It's a false statement. We'll get into what the depth of what the falsity is. But the bottom line is this: there is more libel that occurs on a daily basis right now than probably occurred in decades prior in this country. And the reason why this is so is that every one of us have become a publisher. They used to say that, the newspapers bought ink and 50-gallon drums, but now you don't need to buy that drum. Somebody gets online, sitting behind their keyboard, and they're committing libel. They are committing damaging libel, sometimes devastating libel. Sometimes it's malicious. Some crackpots in there, they're not screwed together properly, and they decide that crackpot is going to get behind his keyboard and he's going to start having at it with somebody. He's going to have at it with an individual. He's going to have at it with a business. Unfortunately, we're seeing a lot of this with kids. Kids are getting online and committing libel against minors. It's a hugely damaging, problematic area in our society right now. And the purpose of this post is to encourage people to make it stop. I'm going to empower you as an individual to make it stop. If you have become the victim of libel, and that is someone has gone online, written a false statement about you, Facebook, Yelp, Nextdoor, wherever, I'm going to empower you to take action on it, make it stop. One thing that I believe very passionately is that you cannot just lay down and take it anymore. Some of these crackpots that are out there doing this defamation, libel, slander stuff, they're not screwed together properly. They're not right in the head. But that is no excuse. They sometimes will fight back. I've seen the sovereign citizen types in court, seen the nut jobs. I've had to go out and get cyber stalking injunctions. I've had to go after these crackpots. I've fought wars with these crackpots. But they have to be held accountable. And if you're sitting there and watching this thing and you're thinking about how some irrational nut job left reviews on your business page, even after you tried to make them right over and over again, and maybe you tried the right thing, turning the other cheek and maybe leaving good comments on there and trying to make the thing right, and just whatever reason, they weren't going to accept that making it right. Again, because sometimes these people are just complete crackpots. Then what I'm empowering you to do here is to take action, to hold that person accountable. And I'm talking primarily about filing a libel lawsuit in the state of Florida. The elements are really simply publication. And again, that can occur on Facebook. It can occur on Yelp. There's some interesting particularities here about Facebook as an example, where maybe the original comment wasn't directly libelous, but the comments that go beneath that, the people liking, the people commenting on an original unlibelous statement, become libel within there. And the mob kind of gets worked up and somebody's saying something more and more. And all of a sudden, what was not a libelous post or commentary on someone's business, the whole post taken in context became libelous. You have to take action to take that down. You've got to hold both the original poster responsible and then the mob underneath it responsible. Because this stuff is going to linger out there for a long time and have long-term damaging impacts on people's businesses, reputations, and a big one that I'm really interested in is kids. If your kid is subjected to libel from kids in school, sometimes they don't get it. I'm very familiar and sensitive to the concept of a kid's prefrontal cortex not being fully developed, and so they may not understand the dynamics of this. But I promise you this, if your kid's the victim of the online mob, this defamation and libel stuff, and you take action against that kid that's the bully, you are going to change the lives of those kids in a good way. Because if they're doing this to your kid and they're getting away with it, they may do it later. But if you take action for your kid and bring these people accountable, then you will change the dynamic for the entire community. Because I promise you, mom and dad get dropped into this thing in a real and significant way, a court case, and they will, and they should. That defamation, libel, slander that them kids have been engaging in is not going to continue. There are particular procedurality requirements here sometimes, pre-suit notices to give them takedown requirements. They can retract. Retraction is a good thing. But there's a deadline. Got to do it within 2 years. You have got to print this stuff out. Lots of procedural stuff I'll get into later about how you print this stuff out, how you identify who the libel speaker is, and take action to make sure we're clear about who's doing this. Critical thing to keep in mind, anti-slap statute. We'll get into that in a little bit. You just can't, fire off and sue somebody because you don't like what they're saying if it's true or if it's an opinion. But there's so much out there that's real libel, real defamation that we're going to go after. Here's the bottom line. There has got to be a wave of libel, defamation lawsuits all across this state in order to change the culture. And I promise you, we will change the culture when people start to hold these people accountable. There is damage that has occurred in these cases, and there's real damages to recover. So if you are a victim of defamation, libel, slander, I encourage you, print up those statements, identify who the speaker is, and then share that information. We got a lawsuit website right here called defamationfirm.com. Put the PDF statements in there. We'll engage in some review of it, let you know what we think about it. If there's a real issue there, we'll get back with you and let you know what we can do to help you in a real short period of time.